I'm sick of daydreaming. I just want the feeling of you in my bed. I'm down to just waste time right below your waistline. Want you by my
Daisy? Food?
Hi guys! So I'm getting ready to leave the house now. I'm about to meet my friend Maho for dinner, who is one of my absolute favorite people here in Barcelona because she's as big as a foodie as I am, and most of the time when we're hanging out it's usually to catch up over some really good food. And in fact, a few days ago she actually brought me to this amazing tapas restaurant that I hadn't been to before, and it was so good as expected from a recommendation from Maho. Every dish was just delicious. Thanks for dinner, Maho! So yeah, today we're trying out a Vietnamese restaurant and I haven't had Vietnamese food in a long time, so I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, let's go!
No, I don't have cable, but I'm willing and able to watch what's on your mind. I find I waste my time the best when I lose control of the remote, staring steady at the channels, giving up on intuition. I'm obsessed with television, it's true. Yeah, you know they're coming. When I disappear, you think I'm running. So let me be clear, you know I love it more when you're alone.
Cheers! Everyone, so I am enjoying a very nice and lazy Sunday afternoon, but I just wanted to come on here to show you guys something that has truly brightened up my weekend. So I got them at this store that I discovered yesterday, and frankly I can't believe it's taken me this long to find this gem, but as they say, better late than never. And yeah, so it's only a 15 to 20 minute walk from my apartment, and I really enjoyed it because it got me walking in a direction that I'd never gone before, even though I've been living here for some time now. But the best part, of course, was getting to the store. It was such a sight to behold. Like, the place was decorated beautifully, and I really liked that it was a flower market style where you can pick the flowers that you like and they help you to assemble your bouquet. The florist was so nice and helpful with her suggestions as well, and I was quite impressed with the selection. And I already know I'm gonna be back in the coming weeks, just to see what they have and get more flowers for the house. And the reason why I was suddenly inspired to get flowers for the house was because of an event that I attended last week. It was a flower arrangement workshop, and honestly it was a really beautiful event because you were just in a room filled with so many gorgeous flowers, and the best part really was that we got to bring home the bouquet that we made, and it was so nice to be reminded of how nice it is, to have like flowers in your house. And what more can I say? Flowers just put a smile on my face. So if you are watching this is your sign from the universe to get yourself something that makes you super happy, whether that's flowers or a bar of chocolate, a nice iced coffee, whatever. Treat yourself. You deserve to be happy. You deserve it.
Okay, so now breakfast is served. I like to top my French toast with some sliced cheese, and then I like to enjoy it with Singaporean pandan kaya.
Okay, this is my first time doing something like this, getting real up close and personal with you guys now. Yeah, I am in the process of getting ready. I am going to hang out with Maho again because today is a public holiday and we get the day off. I am very happy about that. The only thing that would make it better is if Leo were here to hang out with me too. If you know us, you would have noticed that someone is missing from this video, and yes, Leo is not here with me in Barcelona now. He actually went back to Mexico a few days ago, but yeah, he's coming back tomorrow and I am really happy. This is actually the first time in years that Leo and I have been apart. To be honest, I was kind of surprised at how I felt about him not being here, because if you didn't know, Leo and I were actually in an LDR for 2 years before we got married and of course started living together. And during the time of our LDR, we honestly fully exhausted the definition of a LDR. I was in Singapore and he was in Mexico, so to put that into perspective, that is at least a 22-hour flight away, at least. It's oftentimes longer because it really depends on the route that you fly, and the time difference is 13 to 14 hours depending on daylight savings. We were in a very long distance relationship for over 2 years. So yeah, you would expect that someone like me would be very used to being far away from my partner, but like it still felt kind of like weird watching him go. I guess, like I said, it's because we're so used to spending so much time together. I mean, of course, with the pandemic, we were like together every single day for like over 2 years. Coming to Spain, because of the way our work here we're able to spend every day together too. It did take a little bit of adjusting to get used to being apart again. Since we're on that topic, what do you guys think about LDRs? I mean, it is quite a contentious subject, isn't it? I mean, I know loads of people don't believe in it and they swear it just doesn't work, don't do it. And to be honest, that used to be me too. Though of course, my view on LDRs have changed because thankfully mine had a happy ending. So my perspective has changed in the sense that I no longer think that LDRs are doomed to fail. But this is not to say that I don't still think that they are very difficult. Okay, I am applying foundation now. I have thought about it, and I think that the success of your LDR can be increased quite significantly if you follow these 5 tips. And these 5 tips have been distilled not only from my own experience, but from giving advice to other friends who have been in LDRs or were thinking of getting into LDR. Let me just start blending this so I don't look crazy. So the first tip I have, and this is like the number one thing I think you have to do if you're thinking of getting into LDR, is to have a mutual understanding with your partner that an LDR is not meant to last forever. Before you get into the LDR, you and your partner need to be aligned in your mind that you guys are going to actively work to making your LDR end. It sounds obvious, but you'll be surprised at how people go into these situations without really actively thinking about how their LDR is going to end. So you need to understand first and foremost that an LDR is not meant to be a permanent state. It's meant to be something temporary, and that you and your partner should have this understanding that throughout the course of this period of time, you will be actively working towards putting your LDR to an end. So once you have this understanding with your partner, this sets you up for tip number 2, which is to have a serious conversation with your partner on how you're gonna make this LDR end. So this is often a pretty difficult conversation to have, but it's very essential. And if you can get it up front, or at least like early on in the stages of your LDR, it will save you a lot of heartbreak and stress and uncertainty. So what we mean by that is that you would have to think, what does it mean to end the LDR? So that often means like, are you gonna move to where your partner is? Is your partner gonna move to where you are? Or if you both are from the same city, are you both gonna commit to coming back to where you came from? It's about deciding together where you think is going to be, sort of the end state. Once the LDR, which I mentioned earlier, is meant to be temporary, is over. So now I'm gonna pause and apply some concealer. I am not a makeup expert. Concealer is on, it's time to blend while we talk about tip number 3, which is that after you've had this serious conversation with your partner on what the end state is gonna be, throughout the course of the LDR, it's important to actually have periodic check-ins with your partner to see if that end state is still something that you want, because life happens and it's totally expected and totally understandable. New situations come up, maybe it's a new job, maybe it's a scholarship in another country, different things can happen that would change your views on major life decisions. So it's important to check in with your partner regularly, and also to check in with yourself and communicate to your partner if there are any changes on whether the end state that you previously discussed is still something that you want. It's important to not assume, because oftentimes one of the parties could feel blindsided because you would think oh, all this time I thought that we still wanted the same things, I thought that we are still on the same page, and it's just not fair to both you or your partner to expect that. You have to check in once in a while and communicate what's going on in your life, and make sure that you're always trying to align with each other. You need to have these difficult conversations so that you can make sure that you and your partner still want the same things at the end. And if that vision for the end state has changed, then it's important to update it and then realign periodically so that you're always on the same page throughout the course of the LDR. And now we're gonna go to tip number 4, and tip number 4 is quite closely related to tip number 3, which is that consistent communication is key. So note the word choice. We're not saying constant communication, we're saying consistent communication. Of course, you're not going to be able to be constantly texting or calling your partner because you're busy and life gets in the way, and we all have things to do, but it's important to keep communication consistent. No matter how busy you are, honestly, you have to put in the effort to at least drop a text every day to just be hey, how are you? Or I'm fine, this is how my day went. Just a short update to keep your partner in the loop. Because the thing is, when you're in an LDR, the idea of out of sight, out of mind is very, very real, and there just needs to be that consistent effort to make your partner feel like he or she is involved in your life. And it's not just for your partner, but for yourself too, to remind yourself as well that ultimately the point of this relationship is to share your life with someone. So even though you're far away, it is very important to be consistently putting in the effort. Let them know what's going on in your life, make them feel a part of it, even though you guys are apart from each other. Don't you just love cream blush? It looks so natural, and it just makes such a big difference. And now we are going on to tip number 5, and I promise you that's the last tip I have, and that tip is to not leave room for guessing. So what this means is that you want to be more explicit than you naturally would be when you are communicating with your partner. So let me explain what I mean. So when you are in an LDR, you don't have the luxury of things like body language or other cues to communicate what you're feeling, and the same goes for your partner. We actually communicate a lot in ways that are not just verbal, but you don't have that when you're in an LDR because you're physically apart. What I mean is to be more explicit that maybe might be natural for you. For example, if you were in a fight, if you were together like a normal relationship, you know, you would be able to sort of use your body language or like your facial expressions to convey what you're feeling, and maybe your partner can guess what's up with you. But in LDRs, you don't have that. So if for whatever reason, for example, you are mad, it's important to just communicate explicitly with your partner to let them know what's going on, because when you're so far away, it's very easy to have like no idea at all what's going on with your partner. It's just important to not leave room for guessing, because in an LDR, if you were to fight over something, it's so easy to just not communicate from days on end, and then these bad feelings just fester, and then you just lead to a lot of unpleasant after effects. Bottom line is, don't create a situation where your partner has to guess how you're feeling, because if you do that, you are setting them up for failure. I had to go do my brows off camera. It was too much pressure. I had performance anxiety. That is all I wanted to share. I hope that you guys find this useful, and if not useful, maybe at least like a little bit entertaining. So this is the finished outcome. It's time to go. I'm running a little late. I'm sorry, Maho. Yeah, 112, thank you.
Can't get out of bed. Too much on my brain, but got it good. It's like I'm losing my mind, and time's hard to find. What's a girl gotta do to catch up? Wake up when life tries to test me. I take it one day at a time. 'Cause I was crying yesterday, but look at me today. It has been so long since I wrote a sad song. Sunshine on my face, I'm feeling okay. Nothing's in my way. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I put a dress on today. I don't care what you say. And I'm ignoring my phone, so don't try to reach me. I can't do nothing for you